Good day, everyone. I am Jazel Anel Ramos from ECE21, and I am currently taking the course TCPET001LA or Computer Fundamentals and Programming Lab in De La Salle University, Dasmariñas. And so for today, we will be doing the experiment number 4 entitled Operators and Expressions. And before we start, let me read to you our objectives for this experiment. First, becoming familiar with the concept of numbers, operators, and arithmetic operations in Python. Second, becoming familiar with the concept of comments in Python. Third, using and not using comments and replacing comments with code. Fourth, becoming familiar with the inputting and outputting of data in Python. And lastly, evaluating simple expressions. And so with that, let us continue with our experiment number 4.
Okay, so let's start with our experiment number 4 now. Okay, so part 1, scenario 1. Take a look at the code in the editor. It reads, a float value puts it into variable named x and prints the value of variable named y. Your task is to complete the code in order to evaluate the following expression. Okay, the result should be assigned to y. So let's open our Python file for scenario 1. Okay, so yan. It says here, x is equals to hard code your test data here. So, for our test data, we have a test data of 0, 1, and negative 1. So, first, let's use the x is equal to 0. So, write your code here. Our code is this one. 3x raised to 4 minus 2x cubed plus quantity 3x minus 1 raised to 2. So, let's type it here. 3x raised to 4. 3x raised to 4 minus 2x cubed minus 2x cubed plus quantity 3x minus 1 squared. 3x minus 1 squared. Okay. So, it also says that the result should be assigned to y. Okay, so this expression should be is equal to y. So, y equals. Yan. Okay, so let's try to run the code. Okay. It has an invalid syntax. Why? Because of this expression. 3x raised to 4 minus 2x raised to cube plus 3x minus 1. So, let's read further this sa ating experiment. It says, remember that classical algebraic notation likes to omit the multiplication operator. So, in our common algebra, yung multiplication operator is na-omit. So, we don't have a multiplication operator in between our variables. So, nagkaroon tayo ng invalid syntax. So, we should place it here. Okay, so place multiplication operator in between our variables and numbers. Okay, so let's try to run again the code if tama na. Okay. Yun. So, tumama na yung code natin. Okay, and our result is 1.0. Why is it 1.0 even though yung ating numbers is not a float number? That is because our x is equated into float x. So, it means that yung x natin is a float number. So, we have our result of float number also. Okay, so let's do the same thing with the rest test data, which is 1 and -1. Okay, so if our x is equal to 1, positive 1, our y is 5.0. And if our x is equal to -1, our y will be positive 21.0. Okay, so that's for our scenario 1. And for our scenario 2, the code in editor contains comments. Try to improve it. Add or remove comments where you find it appropriate. And change variable names where you think this will improve code comprehension. Comments are very important. They are used not only to make your programs easier to understand, but also to disable those pieces of codes that are currently not needed. Okay. Good programmers describe each important piece of code and give self-commenting names to variables. At sometimes, it is simply much better to leave information in the code. It's good to use readable variable names, and sometimes it's better to divide your code to named pieces. In some situations, it's a good idea to write the steps of computation in a clear way. One more thing, it may happen that the comment contains a wrong or incorrect piece of information. You should never do that on purpose. Okay. So, let's proceed with our second scenario. Our code for the second scenario. Yan. Okay. Sabi dito sa ating second scenario, this program computes the number of seconds in a given number of hours. This program has been written 2 days ago. So, I think this comment, this program has been written 2 days ago, is not relevant for our program. So, I will delete this one. Okay. So, A is equals to 2 and comment number of hours. So, our A here is our number of hours. And I think that we can change the variable name A into hours for us to know that explicitly that this A variable is the number of hours. Okay? Hours. So, as we change this variable hours, we should also change the variable which contains A into hours. Okay, this one is A. So, let's change it into hours. Also, this one hours. There. Okay, so we can eliminate this comment since we already changed it and we know explicitly that this is the number of hours that we will be computing. Okay, seconds is equal to 3,600 number of seconds in 1 hour. We can also change the variable seconds to hours, so that we will know explicitly that this 3,600 here is the number of seconds in an hour. Okay, so we can also eliminate this comment here. Okay, next, printing the number of hours. We know that we will print the number of hours here since this variable is this one. And we have a code which says the print variable. Okay, so we can also delete this comment here. Just delete this comment here. Okay. Next, print seconds in hours. So this is in a comment type. So I think we should delete this part and use it as a variable print, so that we can print the number of seconds in a given number of hours. Okay, so this contains seconds, and we change our variable seconds into seconds to it should be the other way around, r to second. It should be r to second, r to seconds. Okay, so let's change this variable also into r to second, r to seconds. So printing the number of seconds in a given number of r. Okay, so I think we should change this comment as multiplying the number of hours to hours to seconds to determine the number of seconds in a given number of hours. So let's change this comment. Multiplying the given number of hours to the hour to the variable hour 2 seconds to that will give the number of hours number of seconds in a given hour. So multiplying the given number of hours to the variable hour to second, that will give the number of seconds in a given hour. So we know that this print function will give us the number of seconds in a given hour because of our comment here. And it also says here we should also print goodbye, but the programmer didn't have time to write any code. So I think this comment should be eliminated because this comment is not relevant with our type of program that computes the number of seconds. So print goodbye is not relevant to printing the number of seconds in a given number of hours. Okay, so we should eliminate, I think we should eliminate this comment. Okay, this is the end of the program that computes the number of seconds in 3R. So I think this comment is not true because this program is about computing the number of seconds in 2 hours, because our the value of our variable hours here is 2 and not 3, so we should replace 3 into 2. Okay, so I think that would be all for this one. So let's try to run the code and see what happens. Okay, so there. Let us run this code now. Okay. So there. A result, hours 2 and seconds in hours is 7,200. So here, this part here, we print hours, which is 2, which is equivalent to 2. Our given hour is 2, so it prints here. Nagprint siya rito. And then seconds in hour, which will give us the number of seconds in given number of hours. And a given number of hours is 2, so we will have 7,200 seconds in 2 hours. So, and that is the end of our program. Okay, that's the end of scenario number 2. So let's proceed with scenario number 3. Okay, scenario number 3. Your task is to complete the code in order to evaluate the result of 4 basic arithmetic operations. The results have to be printed to the console. You may not be able to protect the code from a user who wants to divide by 0. That's okay, don't worry about it for now. Test your code. Does it produce the result you expect? We won't show you any test data, that would be too simple. Okay, let's proceed with our scenario number 3. Sorry. Oh my gosh. I guess it's a mistake I've done. I've moved it to another folder, so let's open. Okay. Nawala. Let's maximize this one. So, ba dito, it says here, input a float value for variable A here, and input a float value for variable B here. So, our variable A will contain a float number. Let's say that float number is 2.0, and variable B will also have a float value. So, let's say B is equal to 5.0. Okay, output the result of addition here. Print will have print addition, so A plus B. And then next, output the result of subtraction. Subtraction, we will have print A minus B. And for multiplication, we'll have print A times B. And for the division, we will have print A divided by B. Okay, so that's all. So, let's run the code. What will happen? Ayan. We have the result of print A plus B is equal to 7.0. So we have A plus B, which is 2.0 plus 5 is equals to 7. That's right. And print A minus B, 2 minus 5 is equal to 3.0. And 2.0 times 5.0 is equal to 10.0. And A divided by B, which is 2.0 divided by 5.0, is equal to 0.4. So we have our result here all have a float number because our variables A and B are float numbers. Okay, that's all, folks. So I think that's all. So thank you for watching our vlog, which is experiment number 4, operators and expressions. And I hope that we will still learn more about Python programming in this course in our subject CPET001LA Computer Fundamentals and Programming Lab. So that's all. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.